Hey everybody, Ham up here at the desk towards the end of Amateur Radio Field Day weekend for 2012. Had a great time talking to people not only all over the country, but all over the world. It's great to hear people actually getting outside and talking on their radios. But anyway, that's another subject. I was tagged by my very good friend and brother-in-arms, Army Stinger 150, to talk about my favorite navigation tools and gadgets and what I use. And I have a number of them that I use. You know, I work in television. I'm on the street all the time. So knowing not only what direction is which, but where I am is very important. There's a couple of very common things. You're going to hear radio traffic in the background, by the way. I'm going to apologize for that, but it's still going on. Guys are packing up and going home. So if you can hear me okay, let's talk about these. First of all, the most frequently used one, of course, is on my smartphone. This is a Verizon, the Casio Commando, and it has not only their very good electronic compass built into it, but of course it has their version of GPS tracking called VZ Navigator. And like most onboard navigation tools on smartphones these days, no matter what carrier you have, they're going to be fairly accurate. So for quick and dirty, it's in your pocket, you've got it with you. I need to know where I'm going type navigation tool. Right now, the cell phone is always going to be the first thing pulled because usually it's the thing you have on you. Okay, but in places where the cell phone may not be so reliable, we have a number of other tools. Oops. And I just dropped one of the tools on the floor. Well, that's okay. We'll deal with that later. There are, of course, other GPS tools and compasses and things we want to talk about. And I want to talk about compasses a little bit too, real quick while we're doing this. You know me, can't just let it drop. First of all, like Army Stinger 150 showed before, I also have the very versatile and very reliable Garmin portable handheld tracking GPS, the eTrex Legend series. And I usually, since I'm out and about near water a lot, I usually carry it, even though it's weatherproof, it's not waterproof. I usually carry it in a waterproof pouch, such as this. And, you know, I tested some of these before. This one actually works. So not only does it work, but it has a nice clear window in the front, and I can still access the buttons on the side. And the unit does work even inside this pouch. So it was designed for an MP3 player, but the GPS works well on that too. So a lot of times, especially if I'm working the river, this will work, and it'll be in the vest. Okay, and of course I have other GPS units as well. This is another Garmin. It's the Street Pilot series, and I bought the little sunshade that goes on the top, which is very handy, especially when you've got it on your dashboard. But again, the Nuvies, the TomToms, whatever you've got for a dashboard GPS unit, again, they're going to be 12 receivers or more, and for satellite. And as the system gets refined and the units get smaller and more precise, and you update your maps, again, this can be a very valuable tool as well for a larger mobile type situation. So we have this. But if you're out on the trail, out in the bush, what do you have? You have the basic compass. Okay. Now, I have a lot of compasses. I have lens static compasses. I have, you know, other forms of range finding compasses, trekking compasses, and even some little cheapies. And you'd be surprised at the discrepancies in the materials that the compass is made out of. Okay, the basic compass is a piece of ferrous metal that is magnetized and aligns itself with the magnetic axes of the Earth's magnetic field. But not all compasses are made the same. And whether it's air-filled or liquid-filled, the sensitivity of the compass should always be in question unless you test it. And a very simple trick I learned a long time ago is an old theory called nailing a compass. Now, there are actually some very good videos on YouTube that tell you exactly how to do this. I'm going to show you very quickly. What nailing a compass does is it, whoops, see, I just dropped another one. There we go. Let's go ahead and grab this real quick. Where'd it go? There it is. The problem with these little ball compasses, they tend to roll around. Okay? Pardon my head there for a minute. The accuracy of your compass depends on two things. It's ability to sense the true magnetic lines, and secondly, its sensitivity to changes in direction to always track back to magnetic north, so you can tell what your bearing is and how you're going. Okay, so one thing we do is now this would be better done outside with no metal, so I'm just going to do this real quick for display purposes. You would place the compass outside, preferably with no metal, within about a 2-foot area, and let it align to what it says is magnetic north. Okay, and ideally I would have a piece of cardboard or paper underneath this, and I would mark a line showing what it says is the magnetic axis. Then lining the compass up on that line, and if it has a marker ring, marking that as well. Take a piece of high carbon steel. Now, not stainless steel necessarily. High carbon steel is better because the hardening process for stainless steel actually refines a lot of impurities out. And you actually want some of those impurities in because that means a higher iron content, and it allows for a stronger iron field inside the blade. Now this is my little Jason Whitaz EDC knife. Jason makes these out of 01 tool steel, or at least he made this one out of it. It's a very fine high carbon steel. And what you would do is, now you don't need to do this. You can use a nail, hence the name nailing a compass, a screw, something that isn't stainless, just regular ferrous metal. A fire steel will work. And if you can see the needle on the compass here, as I bring the blade close, you see how it turns? The ferrous properties of the metal are disrupting the sensitivity of the needle to true north, because this, being in close proximity, is stronger than the Earth's magnetic field. Okay, so that's fairly sensitive, and I can actually wiggle it back and forth, and you'll see the needle follow it. Now, here's the test. We know true north is that way. When I take the metal away, how quickly and how accurately does that needle return to the Earth's north-south line? The quicker the return, and the more accurate it relines up on the established line that we marked before, the more accurate the compass is, the more reliable it will be when you're out in the field. Some compasses you'll buy at the store, they may cost $15, $20. Do this same test, and you can literally count up to 7 or 8, 1001, 1002, before that thing realigns, and it won't come back to the same point. This compass costs $3. I've got it on a neck lanyard. I can tell where I'm going with this thing, okay? But you test it. See how that works? Now, let's try some other ones real quick. Now, again, you've all seen these little ball compasses, okay? They usually have a little eyelet on them, and this one's busted, but I use these a lot too. Now, these are fluid filled, which means there is less friction on the actual indicator inside the ball, which allows for freer movement, which theoretically increases the sensitivity. Well, guess what? That was a buck. And if you can see the indicator on this, okay, there's north-south, all right? Fairly good sensitivity and quick return, and judging on a point I've got marked up here, it's coming right back on the mark. So there's a dollar compass that's also fairly sensitive and can be used, especially if it was in one piece, in a number of different situations, a number of different carry options. Carry it on a keychain, whatever you want to do, okay? Now, one of the other tools I use a lot, I have a number of these, you've seen a video on this before. This is the Schrade Tough Tool. It's got the multi-tool basics, the storage compartment in the top. Oh look, there's that light arrow I was looking for. It has a small map LED, which is actually pretty hellacious. And of course, it has a very large, very well done, liquid-filled orienteering type compass. Okay, now the only problem is there's a lot of metal in this body, so you have to have the body away from, which is why I usually take these lanyards off. This is one I had in a pack. So let's line this up again to north. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this as well as the others, but, okay, the sensitivity on this is fairly good. And it does return back to the north mark, but you notice how much slower that was? That's entirely the internal mechanism of the compass. It doesn't negate the compass's accuracy, but in a trekking situation where you may need to come back onto course quickly in various situations, this compass is going to take longer to orient itself than one of these smaller compasses. And this was a lot more expensive than those other ones. It's still very accurate. It comes right back every time. It's a very good, accurate line on this compass. But the internal mechanism, even though it is liquid filled, is much tighter than the ball or that little $3 neck compass. So not to be used maybe in an on-the-road moving type situation. But again, if you're stopped somewhere working with a map, working with a chart, this compass is very reliable. But again, if I've got north marked here and I put this down next to it on the table, it will start to pull the needle away from true north because of the metal built into it. So you have to have it isolated when you make the reading. But anyway, those are some of the tools I use. A number of different compasses, and of course we have our electronic options as well. But I hope that fulfills the tag, and I have no idea if I'm supposed to pass this tag along or whatever, but since I don't do too many of these, and it's actually one that I could do, I thought I'd help out. Take care.